So product updates, man. I was putting this together, and I'm like, geez, Louise, we have a lot of great stuff. And I just want to real quick just shout out Jake, who's been on board, since October, he's our VP of operations, and he's really owned this part of our business. Like when a team says, hey, it would be nice to have this, he goes to our dev team, he scopes it out, gets the experience together, and then helps them get it built. He doesn't do the coding, right? But like he makes sure the process moves along. Like for example, like we have had some people dispute charges lately for no reason, right? So to keep things like you having to pay a disputed charge, we've now implemented such things as a fan opt-in checkbox that basically it's an acknowledgement from the fan that says like they know what they're buying and it's really not refundable, and they're receiving their item too. So a couple months down the road, if somebody goes and tries to dispute that charge, you've got factual proof so that you can get your money out and your money back. I know there's a few teams on the list too who have been asking us for buy now option on auction items. That is in the final phase of QA testing. Most of everything on this list has either been implemented already or will be implemented prior to July the 1st. The buy nows will be out in the world before July the 1st. In addition, back to kind of these disputed charges, like we do have some people who try to fraud auctions. Poor Toledo right now have this. People are crazy. We all know that. So basically, fans will have to validate any email address that they want to try to use on Dash versus like create an address and then go and change it and stuff's done with. So that's going to be great. And it's going to cut down on a lot of that crap and save everyone a ton of time. In addition, there's been a lot of refunds on fans buying shipping when they've never won anything, or they buy too many raffle tickets and then, they don't win. And they say, well, I didn't mean to buy that many raffle tickets. There's now a two-step buying process that they will have to confirm. Oh, yes, I am buying this many raffle tickets prior to that purchase going through. So that should cut down on a lot of refunds that have to be issued. It's not a ton, but like, it's a little, just doesn't need to happen. In addition, this one's actually pretty huge that, y'all aren't going to be able to see on the front end. But there are times where technology fails, right? We at Dash use third-party infrastructures to keep the whole thing running, the lights on. Some of those infrastructures are Amazon Web Services, for example, and other large enterprise platforms. What can happen is they can go down for whatever reason, completely out of Dash's control. And then when they go down on a game day, it can really affect what happens on a game day, because teams already have their game day script. And now if they can't end their auction at Saturday night at 8 o'clock, well, that's a problem. Now we have a dual server architecture. So if one system like AWS goes down, we have a whole nother server that can spool up and it's completely seamless. So the percentage of something failing on a game night, whether it's a jersey auction or you've just got your regular 2 raffles jerseys that take place every game night, like you don't have to worry about having to change your script or like freaking out. Like that's one of the most stressful things to me. Jake was like consoling me for a couple days after that, but we made it through. It was fine. It's built. That one is out there. I'm gonna let Tommy in real quick. Sales tax. So I'm just going to mention this. This is like one of those CYA measures. Sales tax can be collected on all of your transactions. If you want to look a little bit more into this, I would Google Sales Nexus. Every state has different thresholds. We have a software that, depending on, it doesn't matter where your fan has made a purchase, we can collect specific sales tax in their municipality, in their state, and give that right back to you. It'll all be included in their final transaction. It's instant. So I just toss that out there. It's easy to turn on. Let us know if your accounting department wants it. Duplicate events. There's a lot of teams who have been asking for this one too. For example, they have a lot of game day activations that are basically rinse and repeat. Or let's say you host an auction and you've got 30 jerseys and only 5 of them sell and you want to relist everything. You can now duplicate events without having to go in and type all that stuff over again. Yes, I know some of y'all are excited. I see hands clapping in the chat. You're welcome. Thank you, Jake, as well, for making sure that gets across the finish line. And then finally, for those folks who have been around with Dash for a long time, we've had this geo functionality where you can geo fence your venue, and basically you have to be in the venue to participate in activations if you're a fan, right? Not a lot of teams have used it. Some teams have. It's a great tool to identify who's in your building. So we are not changing that. However, we are going to enhance it. Essentially, when teams download their report at the end of an activation, we're going to include a new column. It's going to be column B. That's going to tell you who is in your venue and what they bought, what they're participating on. If they have a Dash profile, but they just go to view and they never they don't make a purchase, we'll be able to tell you that too. So these will be fantastic leads for your ticket sales team to follow up on Monday and say, hey, Kevin, how was your experience at the Stingrays game? Have you heard of our flex plan? The whole 9 yards. There's nothing any team needs to do to turn that on. That'll be ready to go for y'all July the 1st. So I would put that as you plan for next year. That may be a strategy that a lot of our ticket sales people are like, cool, how do I drive more transactions? How do I drive 300 transactions in a weekend? So we have great people to call on Monday. Jake, do you have anything you want to add to that before I go to the next slide?
No, just on the duplicate events, it'll be July 1st as well. I know he said it's ready to go, but we're still working on that, have some QA testing to go, but it'll be launched before July 1st, and we'll make sure to let everyone know on that.